Because we're out to Louisville, Kentucky, and talk to Emily. What's up, Emily?
Hey, Dr. John, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I am awesome. This is a surreal moment for me. I'm an original 17 listener.
Yeah.
I can't.
Wait, that's so cool. So did you just wait until you're like, I've got something, and then you called?
Yeah. You know, you listen to the shows over the years and you're like, I can relate to that one, or maybe I'd ask this. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I just kept thinking about this question, and I thought, you know who would have some good insight for me? Dr. John. And let's just see what happens. And I was so excited when Jenna called.
Dude, that's the best. I'm excited when Jenna calls. She doesn't even ever call me, so that's awesome. Good for you.
It was great. Thank you, Jenna.
What's up?
All right. So I wrote it down so I wouldn't get too nervous. But As a longtime listener, I'm surprised I haven't heard this question yet, since I believe it applies to others and could help many. For the backstory, I was 19 when my dad developed Pick's disease, which is similar to an early onset Alzheimer's, but with a sudden personality change preceding the memory loss. Sounds like maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, that's a nightmare, man.
Yeah. So after a lengthy, difficult journey, he passed away after about 8 years. He was only 59. Yes. So fast forward, I'm 36. I'm married. I have a 4-year-old daughter. And I can't help but ask myself every day, am I going to develop this disease? Do I have 14 years left to raise my daughter? Yeah. And so you can see, it just gets very overwhelming. And so there, I know, I thought maybe I'd get a little upset, but I know there are other people in the same boat as me who think okay, I'm approaching the age that my parent passed away too young. And what can I do, to ease that anxiety and that fear?
Yeah, man.
Especially when you have your own kids. Just a bummer.
It's way more than just a bummer. I mean, you're talking, your nervous system's still developing when you're 19.
Yeah.
And the demon of Picks is, you're looking at somebody who's your dad, and he's looking right through you.
Yeah.
And and he's right there, right? It's like trying to hug a ghost. You see him, right? Yeah,
100%. And I think, we know at some point, I think, that we're going to take care of our parents when we get older, because...
No. Hold on.
But not like this.
Hold on. Man, you're good. You're really fast. How old are you now? 30?
36.
36.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't circled back and hugged that 19-year-old Emily. Because no kid's supposed to go through that.
I like to think that I have. I've done therapy over the years.
I know. You've done therapy. You've talked about it. You've expressed it. You've had the grief conversations. I get that.
So many conversations.
But one of my biggest frustrations with talk therapy often is it's all cerebral. It's all thoughts and more thoughts. And if I just get all my thoughts in the right order, then everything's fine. And it's still this many years later, you talk about your dad and you talk about, he's probably a pretty good guy, huh?
Yeah, he was pretty great.
Yeah, he's pretty great. And then all of a sudden, he would fumble around for the name of his baby girl.
Yeah.
And now you have a 4-year-old, and that thought becomes even more harrowing, right? Because you can see both sides of the equation now. When you're 19, you just experience it one way. Like, this is happening to me. When you have your own kid, you realize what hell that was.
Yeah. And I don't have control over that, but I don't want to do that to her, or my husband, or it just...
Well, nobody does. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that either, right?
No.
If you haven't, and I know the last thing you want to hear is, I don't want to see anybody else. I want to talk about this anymore. Yada. I get that. If you haven't gone to sit with a trauma counselor, which is different than grief, I would recommend you doing that, even if it's 2 or 3 sessions. And probably what it will be is you laying down like on a massage table or you sitting down in a chair and the counselor sitting just behind you or right next to you, and you go back to being 19 about 3 months after you heard about the diagnosis, and then your dad goes to take you somewhere and he forgets where he's going to take you.
Yeah.
And he looks at you with that fear that dads aren't supposed to look at their daughters with, because dads are supposed to have it all together. And what the counselor will do is just simply put her hand on your shoulder or hold your hand, because your body's got to cycle it out because it's still holding on to it. That's number one. Number two, in the present, I want you to not be upset with the anxiety. It's exactly right. At 19, you experience something that nobody should experience. A hope is, right? This is a gnarly hope. The hope is we all bury our parents, not the other way around, right? That's the way it should be.
Right.
And they should all be 98 and die in the middle of the night in their sleep.
Yes.
With a smile on their face and maybe like a middle finger to the Texas Rangers, right? Like something like that.
Yeah.
But not slowly dissolve in front of their baby girl.
Yeah.
Right. And so your body put a GPS pin in that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to decide to do is to feel it and to go, oh, there it is, trying to protect me again. I'm good now. And that's got to be a refrain, a common, always happening refrain. And you're going to have to make sweet, sweet peace with a journal and get that crap out of your body onto the paper. Because what your daughter's going to feel as she gets older and older is your chest tightening up every time you think of that moment and then you look at her. And she's going to think that's her fault. Whatever that thing that's happening to mom right now, she has to try to solve that. And that's not her job. Fair?
No. Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's not her job. Yeah. And I try to do things like leave a journal for her. And, because there's so many things that I think my dad would have said to us if he could have or knew it was coming. So sometimes I think, well, maybe I can quiet my alarm bells by writing down advice that I want her to know. Like almost like.
Have you written your dad a letter?
Just in case.
You're trying to you're trying to seance him. Don't do that. He's gone.
Yeah.
But he left you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He left you.
Right.
He left his amazing, beautiful, brilliant daughter. What you need to do on a regular basis for a season is write him a letter. A couple of them.
Okay.
And you've heard me on the show say it, and I always say 3 different ones, but you might need more because he needs to know what he's missed.
Yeah, a lot.
Dear Dad, I would have loved if you were here to have punched this guy out that I was dating when I was 26. You would have hated him.
How did you know that? You were like so spot on.
and hopefully while you're writing, you're laugh crying. And imagine the best you can do. Imagine yourself at a table at a Denny's talking to your old man.
Yeah.
And don't run from that.
No. That would be the dream, to sit there with him again.
Do it, but do it with a pen. And if you're a true gangster, read it to your husband out loud.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you want to do something even crazier? This year?
Let's see what you got.
This year for Christmas, do you have brothers and sisters?
I do have an older sister, yeah.
Okay. This year, you're all going to write each other a letter from Dad. Okay. Dear sister.
Okay. Sure.
I'm so proud of you.
That's a good idea.
You've got 4 amazing kids. You bathe properly now. Whatever the story is, right? And with whatever weird humor your dad probably had, whatever his seriousness.
He always called us by our initials. Yep. Even though we're married now, I don't know if he would have changed that. But
if he had, I would have gotten mad at him, of course. You can take whatever name you want, but for him, he'll, right?
Yeah.
And here's what we're doing. We're teaching our body. Number one, we're honoring a great man.
Yeah.
Right? Who hung on the best he could for as long as he could. That's number one. Number two, we're teaching our body that we're okay now.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it in the presence of other people, which I don't know how that works. I don't know the physiology about how that works. I just know that grief has to be expressed in front of other people.
Yeah.
And most of us run from it. And that's what the anxiety is. It's running away from that alarm system. And so this year for Christmas or Thanksgiving, as a moment of celebration, what if you ran into it?
Yeah.
Walk into it. And you'll have one or two of your siblings that might be like, this is insane. I'm not doing this. That's fine.
It's just my sister and I, so I will not give her a choice.
Yeah, she didn't get a choice. Is your mom remarried?
She is. Yeah.
Okay. What if y'all three women went out and y'all did it together? And you wrote her a letter from your dad saying how proud you are of him and you approve of this knuckleheaded other guy and you're so glad that she had, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It would probably be very cathartic for all of us.
I know it would be.
But very scary because it would be, like you said, unleashing a lot of trauma over those years he was sick.
Yeah, it's sick. But here's the thing. All of y'all are feeling it.
Yeah.
And all of y'all have tried to take care of one another by shoving it all the way down.
Yeah.
And that's anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want you to be really gracious with Emily in the present.
Yeah.
Now, there's another part of anxiety that's about choosing reality, okay?
Yeah.
Is there any sort, and I don't know enough about this without getting over my skis, is there any sort of MRI you can go get done to find out if you're a candidate?
You can have genetic testing done, which my husband's in the military, so we talk about maybe going down that road when we're retired and settled.
I think you should go down that road right now.
Ugh, I don't.
I know, but that gap, the choosing to live in the deliberate, I don't want to know, that's your body trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to face reality. Is there a teeny, tiny possibility? If there is, I don't know the genetic component to it.
It's about 50%, so it's larger. I mean, essentially, it's scary because I'm like, is it going to be me? Is it going to be my sister? Do you want to know? Do you want to know going into those years that you may or may not have left?
You can choose to not want to know, but you cannot get mad at your body for trying to get your attention because it's just doing its job.
True.
So either I'm going to choose 15 years of anxiety and then we're going to spin the roulette wheel, or I'm going to learn right now. I'm going to become one of those crazy people that goes down every rabbit hole trying to come up with any sort of thing I can do on the front end to extend it a year, 6 months, 5 years, whatever. I'm going to go to every clinical trial I can, and I am going to soak up every second with my daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure there are video logs and journals and whatever.
Yeah.
So that when she's sitting down, imagining herself having a conversation with mom over Denny's, right? She can just push play on the video.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's something that I think helps to quiet my alarm bells.
What's that?
Just knowing that there'll be more for her, like because there's more awareness. It was very random
but
for my
you
dad.
have been like, all right, in 50 years, I'm going to pull my head out of the sand. I think you need to know.
Yeah, I think I do need to know. Yeah.
I think you need to know. Or just make peace like, dude, I'm just anxious. That's just how I'm going to roll. I'm just going to be super. It's the same thing as like, hey, how much money do you have in your checking account? Like, I don't even want to know. I'm just going to keep going. And there's 50% chance there's money in there and 50% not. Your body would be failing you if it wasn't like, hey, what's in the account? What's in the account? What's in the account? You got to find out what's in the account, I think. I think it's always best to deal with reality. And then if you find out, no, you're a carrier, this is a really significant chance that you've got this, we're going to grieve that. And then we're going to start making some truthful decisions out of that. That's just me. If you were my sister or my wife, that would be my strongest recommendation. And I know it's scary. And so is not knowing too. But anytime you feel that storm, head into it. And man, how amazing of a legacy your dad left you. This many years later, you still miss him so much and you still smile when you think about him. I hope my daughter thinks of me that way when it's my time. Hang on the line, Emily. I'm going to send you a copy of Building an Unanxious Life. I want you to read through it and use the map. When your body's alarm starts setting off, I want you to pinpoint it on the map and we can go from there.